Man, some games just feel alive. You know that feeling when you enter a game and it's like the world keeps moving on its own? I've picked 18 of the most immersive and living open world games you've ever seen. They're not just great because of their vast worlds, but also because they have strong narratives, well-written protagonists, and incredible stories. Number 1, Assassin's Creed Origins. You ever play a game and just feel like you're walking through history? That's what Assassin's Creed Origins does. It's not just Egypt, it's ancient Egypt in all its glory. You can literally feel the heat of the desert on your skin, hear the buzz of the markets, see priests praying by the temples, and farmers tending the fields near the Nile. It's like stepping into a time machine. And Bayek, he's not just another assassin. He feels human, with pain, loss, purpose. You connect with him because he's not just killing targets, he's holding on to his last pieces of love and meaning in a world that's moving too fast. You can sense the birth of something big, the brotherhood, the idea that would change history, and yet the game gives you so much peace in small moments. Sometimes I just climb a pyramid, sit at the top, and watch the sandstorms roll across the dunes while the sun set behind me. Those quiet moments hit harder than any boss fight. Origins doesn't try to overwhelm you. It makes you belong. Every bird overhead, every merchant shout, every camel bell, they make the world feel like it exists even when you're not playing. It's one of those games where the silence says more than the dialogue. 2. Hitman World of Assassination. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Hitman? That's not even an open world game. But hear me out. It absolutely deserves a spot here. Every location, Paris, Sapienza, Mumbai, or Berlin, feels like its own living, breathing ecosystem. It's honestly mind-blowing. You step into a mission thinking it's just another level, but 5 minutes later, you're watching NPCs argue about work, tourists taking selfies, waiters flirting, random people just living their lives. None of it feels staged. It's just happening. And that's what makes Hitman so immersive. The world doesn't revolve around you. You simply slip into it, unnoticed, like a ghost. The music fades, the crowd hums in the background, and suddenly you're reading the environment, not through dialogue or tutorials, but pure observation. You start to realize, this place would keep going even if I never pulled the trigger. It's an incredible feeling, knowing you're part of something alive, something that doesn't care about your objectives. I've spent entire missions just walking around, listening, observing. No kills, no chaos, just existing. The developers didn't just build maps, they built societies. And that's something truly rare. 3. Watch Dogs 2. San Francisco has never felt more alive than in Watch Dogs 2. Seriously, this world doesn't sleep. It's like every street has a personality. You've got skateboarders rushing down the sidewalks, tech geeks in coffee shops debating conspiracy theories, and random people live streaming their day on the phone. The city's got color, rhythm, and chaos. It's like the perfect mix of freedom and energy. Marcus Holloway, the main guy, fits perfectly in that vibe. He's not your typical dark, brooding hero. He's this young, passionate, slightly nerdy dude who just feels real. You get the sense he actually loves what he's doing, and that energy rubs off on you as you explore. And then there's the tech. The way you can control traffic lights, cars, and security systems. It all makes the city feel reactive, like it's alive and aware of you. Sometimes I just walk around and watch random events unfold. Police chases, people fighting, drones flying overhead, and it all happens naturally. You don't have to trigger it. It's like the city has its own brain. Every time I return to Watch Dogs 2, I feel like I'm stepping into a space that's constantly evolving. It's not just open, it's breathing, and it feels like real life in digital form. 4. Red Dead Redemption 2. I could talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 forever. It's not just a game, it's a living, breathing world that feels like it existed long before you turned on your console. The way the light hits the trees at dawn, the way mud clings to your boots, the way birds scatter when you fire your gun. Every single thing feels handcrafted with love and obsession. What blows my mind is how alive it all feels even when you're doing nothing. Ride your horse through Valentine at night and you'll see townsfolk closing up shop, lamps flickering, dogs barking in the distance. Wake up early and you'll see fog lifting off the river. It's small, but it's everything. Arthur Morgan, though, he's what ties it all together. His story feels like it belongs in that world. The more you play, the more the world mirrors his journey. Beautiful, but fading. The gang feels real too. They eat, talk, argue, and live without waiting for you. I've lost hours just sitting by the campfire listening to them tell stories. And it's the kind of game where sometimes you don't want to rush to the next mission. You just want to ride, slowly, letting the wind and music carry you. That's what makes Red Dead Redemption 2 so alive. It doesn't need to beg for your attention. It already has your heart. Five, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. If there's one game that defines what a living world feels like, it's The Witcher 3. You don't just play it, you inhabit it. Every forest, every swamp, every village seems to have a story whispering through the wind. You can practically smell the rain on the mud, hear the distant howl of wolves, and feel the tension when a storm rolls in. Geralt isn't your typical hero. He's weary, layered, and feels like a man who's seen too much. You sense the weight of his choices, the loneliness of being a Witcher. But then something magical happens. The world reacts to you. People remember what you did, rumors spread, and sometimes even a small side quest ends up changing the tone of an entire region. One of the things that blows me away is how natural everything feels. You're not just chasing monsters, you're walking into tragedies, legends, and lives that go on whether you interfere or not. Villagers mourn their dead, farmers curse the war, travelers sing by the fire. It's all happening while you're busy chasing the next contract. And that's the thing about The Witcher 3. It doesn't try to impress you with scale, it wins you over with soul. Every blade of grass, every melancholy song from Priscilla, every quiet moment by the lake, it reminds you that a truly alive world isn't about graphics or mechanics, it's about feeling something real. 6. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. You know that moment when you step out of the Shrine of Resurrection for the first time, and the entire world of Hyrule stretches out before your eyes? I still get chills just thinking about it. Breath of the Wild captures something rare, a pure sense of wonder. It doesn't push you forward, it invites you to explore. Every hill, every tree, every whisper of the wind feels like it's calling you to see what's beyond. What makes this world feel so alive isn't just what is happening, it's what could happen. You see a mountain and think, I can climb that. You see a storm rolling in and realize, maybe I should drop this metal sword. The world doesn't revolve around you, it exists with or without you. Wild animals hunt, rain puts out fires, the wind spreads flames. Nature behaves like nature. I've spent hours just cooking by a campfire, listening to the soft soundtrack fade into silence. No rush, no flashing arrows telling you where to go, just you, the landscape, and your curiosity. And every time I return, that same sense of magic hits me, like I'm discovering it all for the first time. Few games make me stop mid-journey just to admire a sunset, but Breath of the Wild does, because Hyrule isn't just a backdrop, it's a living world that speaks for itself. 7. Horizon Forbidden West. There's something surreal about Horizon Forbidden West. It's this perfect blend of nature reclaiming the earth and humanity clinging to survival. Every region feels like a world of its own. Deserts that shimmer under the heat, jungles full of mechanical beasts, and ruins whispering stories of the old world.
You can feel the history buried beneath the ground. Aloy is the kind of character who makes this world feel alive just by being in it. Her curiosity, her determination, it mirrors ours as players. You're not just completing missions, you're uncovering truths. The conversations, the tribes, the way the machines behave, everything feels thought out, like there's logic and life behind every decision. Sometimes I'd stop just to watch the way the wind ripples through the tall grass, or how a herd of machines grazes peacefully before suddenly scattering when they notice me. That kind of detail sells the illusion completely. It's not a game world anymore, it's a functioning ecosystem. What I love the most, though, is that mix of beauty and decay. It's hauntingly gorgeous. Every color, every sound, every ruin feels like a reminder that life finds a way, even after everything's gone. Forbidden West doesn't just feel alive, it feels reborn.
8. Dying Light 2, Stay Human. If you've ever played Dying Light 2 at night, you know the meaning of fear. This world breathes danger. You can feel it in the air, in the way people talk, and how the city changes completely when the sun sets. During the day, it's busy. Survivors talking, trading, trying to rebuild some sense of normal life. But at night, the infected rule. The city transforms. What makes Dying Light 2 special is how the world reacts to your choices. The factions, the people, they all remember what you do. You give water to one district, and suddenly, that area feels alive again. Lights come on, people celebrate, but betray someone, and that same place becomes hostile, filled with tension. The city reflects you. And then there's the parkour. Man, the freedom. The way you can sprint across rooftops, leap between buildings, grab ledges at the last second. It's like the whole city is your playground. But one mistake can cost you everything. Sometimes I'd stop on top of a tower just to breathe, looking down at the infected below, the fires burning, the sunrise creeping through the smog. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Dying Light 2 captures the feeling of a world holding on to hope by its fingertips, a place still fighting to stay alive. Number 9, Dragon's Dogma 2. Man, Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of those worlds that just feels unpredictable in the best way possible. It's wild, raw, and completely alive. You never really know what's waiting for you around the next corner. Maybe a griffin will swoop down out of nowhere, or you'll get caught in a fight between bandits and a cyclops. It's that kind of chaos that makes every journey feel like your own story. The world doesn't hold your hand. You can walk for miles and suddenly realize night is falling, and that's when things get real. Monsters don't just spawn out of thin air. They hunt. They move around naturally. The pawns, your companions, even react like real people, noticing new places, giving tips, or freaking out when something huge shows up. But what really sells it is the atmosphere. The forests feel thick and dangerous, the towns feel worn and real, and every little cave or valley seems to hide something mysterious. Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't just show you a world, it throws you into it and dares you to survive. It's messy, it's rough, and that's exactly why it feels so alive. Number 10, No Man's Sky. If you've ever dreamed of exploring space as a kid, No Man's Sky somehow captures that exact feeling. The crazy thing is how it's evolved. What started as a rough idea turned into one of the most beautiful living universes ever made. Every planet feels unique. Alien skies, bizarre creatures, strange weather, and the best part is it's all happening in real time. You might land on a planet covered in toxic storms and glowing plants, then warp to another where everything is frozen solid, and all you hear is the wind brushing against your suit. It's weirdly peaceful and lonely at the same time. What makes it feel alive is the ecosystem. Animals actually move in herds, storms roll in suddenly, you see traders flying above while you explore, and every base or player you meet feels like a small piece of a giant, breathing galaxy. No Man's Sky is a game where exploration isn't a feature, it's the experience. You lose hours just flying between stars, naming planets, and realizing that somewhere out there, millions of players are doing the same thing, all under the same endless sky. That's real magic.
11. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim had to make this list. Yeah, it's old, but it's timeless. Every time you start a new game, it feels like returning to a world that somehow remembers you. The snowy mountains, the crackling fireplaces and little inns, the distant roar of a dragon echoing through the valleys. It all just feels alive. The NPCs have their own routines. Shopkeepers close up at night, guards chat about their day. Even random travelers share stories that make the world feel genuinely lived in. And the best part, you can go anywhere, do anything. The game never tells you what kind of hero to be. You decide that. You'll find yourself climbing a mountain just because you saw something glimmering at the top, or following a butterfly, only to stumble upon a new quest by accident. It's full of these little spontaneous moments that remind you the world doesn't revolve around you, it simply exists. And that's what makes it so powerful. Skyrim isn't perfect, but it feels eternal. It's not just a map, it's a place that stays with you long after you've put the controller down.
Number 12, Days Gone. Days Gone isn't just another open-world zombie game. It's about a broken world that somehow still feels alive. The forests of Oregon are dense, dark, and unpredictable. One moment you're cruising down a quiet road on your bike, and the next, a horde of freakers bursts out of the woods like a living nightmare. But the beauty is in the details. The rustling of the trees, the fog rolling over the mountains at dawn, the distant howls of wolves. It's haunting, but it's beautiful. You can feel the weight of the world pressing down on Deacon, his loneliness, his grief, but also his stubborn will to keep going. And that bike of yours, it's not just transportation, it's your lifeline, maybe even your best friend. You start caring for it like it's part of you. The camps, the survivors, those quiet moments by the campfire, everything feels tangible and real. Days Gone shows that even in the apocalypse, nature keeps moving. The world keeps breathing. It's not about saving humanity, it's about finding a reason to keep living. And somehow, that makes this world feel more human than most games ever manage to.
13. Far Cry 5. Man, Far Cry 5 hits different. Hope County might look like just another open-world map, but when you step into it, you realize how alive it actually is. The forests hum with life, birds scatter as you fire your gun, deer run across the roads. And yet, there's always this eerie tension in the air. You can be fishing peacefully by the river, and suddenly a cult patrol drives by yelling about cleansing the world. The mix of serenity and chaos is what makes it feel real. It's that American countryside vibe twisted by fear and control. But what really brings it to life are the small-town characters. The bartender who's secretly running resistance missions, the pilot who'd do anything for his daughter, the dog Boomer who becomes your best buddy. Every encounter feels personal, not scripted. The sunsets in Far Cry 5 are something else. Golden light over endless trees, smoke rising in the distance from a firefight you just left. The world breathes, reacts, and evolves. It's not perfect, but that's the beauty of it. It's messy, unpredictable, and alive in all the right ways.
14. Cyberpunk 2077. Say what you will about its launch, Cyberpunk 2077 today is a completely different beast. Night City isn't just a city, it's a living organism. The lights never fade, the streets never sleep, and the people? They all have somewhere to go, something to do, even if you never follow them. You walk down a random alley and there's graffiti that tells a story. You hear people arguing over implants, laughing at some bad joke, or just surviving. It feels like you're eavesdropping on a world that doesn't care you're there, and that's what makes it feel real. The way the city glows at night with rain hitting your jacket and neon signs reflecting off puddles, it's hypnotic. You start to feel the rhythm of it. You don't play Cyberpunk, you live it. And then there's V. Your journey through that city becomes something deeply personal. You're not just running missions, you're trying to find meaning in a place built on noise, greed, and broken dreams. It's messy, loud, emotional, just like real life. Night City isn't the backdrop, it's a soul. Number 15, Shadow of the Colossus. There's nothing quite like Shadow of the Colossus. It's quiet, lonely, yet somehow it feels more alive than most worlds filled with NPCs and quests. You ride across those endless plains, and you can feel the wind brushing past, the dust rising behind Agro's hooves, and the echo of your own thoughts. The world is breathtaking, but it's empty in a deliberate, haunting way. There are no towns, no people, just you, your horse, and these massive ancient beasts that seem to belong to the land itself. Each Colossus feels like a living, breathing creature, not an enemy, but a guardian. The silence between battles says more than words ever could. You notice the ruins, the temples swallowed by nature, and you realize this world existed long before you and will keep existing after you're gone. It's not just alive visually, it's emotionally alive. It breathes sadness, beauty, and mystery. Shadow of the Colossus isn't a place you explore, it's a place you feel. And even after you finish it, part of you never leaves that valley. (16) Mad Max. Man, Mad Max is pure chaos, but in the best way possible. The desert is brutal, empty, and yet strangely alive. It's not alive with people, it's alive with atmosphere. The storms that roll in, the roaring engines in the distance, the vultures circling wrecks. It's a world that speaks through sound and motion. Every inch of that wasteland tells a story. Rusted cars half buried in sand, skeletons of old cities, random survivors fighting over scraps. You feel like civilization collapsed years ago, and this is what's left. But what really gets you is how connected you become to your car, the magnum opus. It's your lifeline, your weapon, your home. The roar of that engine against the howling wind feels real. You can almost taste the dust in the air. There's a certain beauty in how ugly everything is. The sunsets over the dunes, the lightning storms lighting up the horizon. It's violent, yet stunning. Mad Max proves that a world doesn't need to be lush to feel alive. Sometimes survival itself is what gives life meaning. 17. Ghost of Tsushima. Man, Ghost of Tsushima is just art in motion. Every frame looks like it could hang in a museum. You don't even have to rush missions, just riding through those golden fields, watching the leaves swirl in the wind, it's almost hypnotic. The world feels alive not because of crowds or noise, but because nature itself breathes. The wind guides you, the foxes lead you to hidden shrines, bamboo forests whisper as you pass. It's all so peaceful, yet underneath it all, there's pain, loss, and war. You feel the tension between beauty and tragedy everywhere you go. And that's the magic. Tsushima doesn't scream for your attention, it whispers it. You start to notice how the light shifts through the trees, how the rain falls heavier after a big battle, how Jin's story reflects the changing land. It's not just alive, it's soulful. By the time you reach the end, you realize this isn't a world you visited, it's one you lived in. And it stays with you long after the credits roll. (18) Hogwarts Legacy. I'll be honest, I was never really a Harry Potter fan, so I was a bit hesitant to try Hogwarts Legacy.
But the moment I started walking through the castle halls, hearing students gossiping, books flying around on their own, it felt like the world was truly alive. What blew me away was how the game captures the everyday magic. The floating candles in the Great Hall, the talking portraits that actually move, the owls swooping in with letters. It's the kind of world where even standing still feels exciting because something's always happening around you. And it's not just Hogwarts. The villages, the Forbidden Forest, even Hogsmeade all feel like living, breathing places with their own stories. You'll see students rushing to class, creatures roaming freely, and weather that shifts as if the world has its own pulse. Playing Hogwarts Legacy isn't just about exploring, it's about belonging. It gives you that feeling of being part of something magical, even if you're just wandering the castle at midnight, wand in hand, with no plan at all.
And that's it, man. 18 open worlds that don't just look alive, they feel alive. These are the kind of games that make you forget you're holding a controller. If you played any of them, you know exactly what I mean. And if you haven't, dude, what are you even doing? Go live in these worlds. Trust me, real life can wait.